The city of San Diego recently sent out 252 letters demanding payments from people who rented their rooms or homes out through Airbnb and other internet host sites. Confusion ensued because the city does not have clear rules about short-term vacation rentals. My guest, Omar Passons, a former Airbnb host, and City Councilman Chris Cate, who's proposing new regulations for hosts, are here with further details. And Omar, you've been an Airbnb host. You're currently staying in an Airbnb apartment. How does this site and others like it work?
Well, it's pretty straightforward, actually. You go on your website, either on your computer or a phone, and you just have an opportunity to look for places by city, and then you can sort of gauge the people who you either rent to if they're going to come stay with you, or where you're going to go. And there's reviews listed, sort of like Yelp, to help people really understand who they're renting out to or who's staying in their home.
So sort of short-term rental vacation type of things, but using your own home or your own condo.
Well, I think it's important to realize people do it. I'm doing it right now here in San Diego because our house is getting renovated. So corporate short-term, all sorts of other
things
uses.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, right now, how does the city of San Diego actually regulate short-term rentals like this?
It's unclear, and that's some of the reasons why we went forward with our proposals, because when we got word from our constituents about receiving one of these letters, we looked further into the municipal code and saw just a lot of ambiguity, a lot of just clumsiness in terms of the writing, because these codes haven't been updated in 40, 50 years. And so it's really unclear for folks what rules they have to follow in order to rent out their home for a short period of time, and that's why we went forward with our proposal.
Are there certain neighborhoods where rentals like these can't operate?
Right now, no. I mean, you have to go through either permitting phases, or it's unclear,
like a zoning
issues exactly. So no one knows really the rules of the road, and that's what we went forward and tried to list out what are some simple steps that you would have to take in order to operate. And if someone wanted to rent out their home, they can receive a packet that says these are some of the issues that you have to be concerned with, these are the things you have to follow in order to participate.
And Omar, you're representing a woman right now who's in a legal battle with the city over her rental issues or rental units. Tell us about that.
Right. So I'm a land use attorney, and a friend reached out and said, hey, there's somebody that's really facing a tough situation. And the bottom line is she rented out rooms using Airbnb on a short-term basis and was there and was able to make sure people were behaving. And as a result of some sort of neighbor complaints to code enforcement, neighbors sort of pushing the council office in that area, she's facing now up to $250,000 in fines from the city of San Diego.
We're not going to talk about that, Chris, right at the moment because it isn't in litigation right now. But you and Councilwoman Lori Zapp are working on creating new mandates, as you mentioned, to regulate these short-term rentals that include a new tax structure and a new fee structure. What are the specifics of your proposal?
So my proposal is about threefold. Essentially, the first is that we want to make sure we define what a short-term rental property is that it's anybody who rents out their home for a period of 30 days or less. The second thing is more of a public input, be a neighborly section of the ordinance, which would be that if you do rent out your home during that period of time, whether it's your room or your house, is that you have a local 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week contact in which someone, if there is a disturbance, there's a nuisance that occur, can call that local contact, and that person would have to respond within 60 minutes to whatever that complaint is. And lastly, if there are a series of nuisances that are documented nuisances that continue to occur, that there be fines and penalties associated with that. So we want to make sure that we're entrusting that there are some private property rights that occur for people who are homeowners, that they're allowed to do this. But we also want to make sure that there's that balance of a quality of life standpoint, that there are good folks who are making sure they're following the rules, but for those bad apples, that there are fines and penalties associated.
Sure. And Omar, how would you like to see concerns about noise issues or large groups of people coming in and out on a regular basis in neighborhoods? How would you like to see that handled?
Well, I think it's important that there be that responsible hosts, and I'm affiliated with the Short-Term Rental Alliance in terms of here locally, who wants responsible hosts to be able to do it, and for people who misbehave in some of the beach communities and elsewhere to have stiff penalties to prevent them. And it's also important that council offices have an actual stated policy for how they decide to intervene in neighbor disputes, because part of these issues is about how things get elevated from council offices into the code enforcement.
All right, Omar Passons and Councilman Chris Cate, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.